What is it? Games. We like games. We like gaming on games and buying games. I like to buy games on the PlaySN Store because that's the one I use. You might use a different one, but I use the PlaySN Store. And on the PlaySN Store, you can get lots of horrible copies. What do you mean? Like shovelware, asset flips, or genre clones. Yes, today we're going to look at some of the absolute worst. Fakes, phonies, and utter frauds. So the PSN Store allows for many different types of games, many go unchecked, I would say. You know, we have all of these great releases and they're not always fantastic.
Sometimes maybe good, sometimes maybe shit.
Fool's Pub, which may look like a game you know as Liar's Bar, but something's not quite right.
But that is not! That's an impostor! An impostore!
No, the first of these Steam clones that we're looking at is actually one of the more competent ones. It's not awful. I mean, don't get me wrong, it's not Liar's Bar. There is a modicum of quality about it. It plays exactly the same. No blood and guts. Very respectable. But at the same time, definitely not as polished as Liar's Bar. And what occurs when we go onto the PSN network is we look for certain games. Some things may trend, but ultimately what we're left with is a knockoff. A cheap knockoff, I'm going to call it, because that is exactly what it is.
A faker! A phony! An utter fraud! A base, deceitful!
Mr. Adams!
I lost count of how many versions of this game, of Liar's Bar, or Fool's Pub, or Fool's Bar, or Liar's Bistro. There's lots and lots of attempts to make a version of this game. I think what's happened is that some developers, some shovelware makers, some shovelers of shovels have noticed that when a Steam game gets popular, there is a period of time before it actually manages to make its port over to the console. So what they're doing is jumping on it straight away and making what is a fairly roughshod version of that game. And after sifting through quite a lot of them, there's only one result that I was left with.
Oh no! What happened? Oh no! How terrible! That's just awful! How terrible! Oh no!
In truth, Fool's Pub or Liar's Bar, or whichever one you've managed to pick up, they all play pretty similar. If you're happy with one that's not quite the official version, but looks almost as good and plays almost as good as our Steam counterpart, Fool's Pub's actually not too bad. I would say that it's definitely playable. It's relatively enjoyable in terms of the type of game that it is, and it handles well. It's got online capabilities. You can play it with your friends and all that sort of stuff. The AI voices will drive you absolutely mental because they're terrible, and the general rough look of it you'll probably get used to, but there's still an issue with this, isn't there?
Let's play with fate, shall we?
And as bad as it is, it's nowhere near as bad as Body Camera Shooter, a game that lies to you straight away before you've even purchased it. Combat through the warrior's eyes, where every decision counts.
Are you sure about that?
And this is where I have an issue. Beyond the blatant lies that are written on the PSN page for this game, the attempt of actually making a game was given up on halfway through. There's no intro, there's nothing, there's no mission select, there's no game variation, there's no mode selection. There's 3 maps, 3 weapons that all do exactly the same thing, and some of the most egregious asset recycling I've ever seen in my life. It's literally Unrecord. So Unrecord is the Steam version of this. This is the exact Unreal 5 engine map that was used in Unrecord, lifted and given absolutely no extras whatsoever. You can take 1,000 bullets. There's these guys that have the AI, like the brains of potatoes. They just run up to you and go, "Hey!
Hey! 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 Hey!
That's all they can do. Hey! The same hey. One voice line, one word for every enemy. There's no sense being made throughout the entire thing. Nothing handles well. Everything feels floaty and shite. Nothing is good about this game in any way. It is a complete waste of your money. There's no tactics. There's no variation. There's no multiplayer. There's no... it says about something like... tactical brains. There's no tactical brains. There's no brains. 0 brains is used. The only good thing about this game is the way that the map looks, and that is because they didn't make it. It is an asset from Unreal 5. It has been literally pasted into the game, and that's the best thing about it. Nothing else is good. Everything handles awfully. Nothing feels weighty at all. You could change weapons, and I think you pick up an MP5 or something, and it fires and handles exactly the same as the pistol you had before. The only difference is it has a little bit more ammo. That's it. And it won't help you anyway, because 2-3 shots into any enemy and they die because they're all fucking useless. Like, literally none of them have any brain cells that are warranting you swapping weapons whatsoever. You can't melee them. You can't do anything else. All you can do is listen to them go, hey, hey, over and over again until you literally lose your mind. Hey. Even to the point where the characters are asset stolen from Unreal 5, because they're the ones that have got the little censored face business going on, the old square blocky face. Let's not animate anything. Let's not do anything ourselves whatsoever. Why would we want to do that? Even to the point where they use the Unreal asset as a hostage. Like, they didn't even bother to make a hostage character. They just took the placeholder. And I don't think it would piss me off as much if they didn't just constantly lie. Revolutionary movement system doesn't exist. Body cam intensity, bullet counts, doesn't exist. Plan assaults, outwit your opponent on the battlefield, doesn't exist. Nothing exists that they talk about. The guys run round a corner, say hey, shoot you a couple of times, and then you kill them. The end. It is almost impossible to die. There is nothing. There's no agency, there's no drama, there is nothing. There is absolute tosh is what there is.
A faker, a phony, an utter fraud.
Speaking of absolute tosh, the Button B has got to be one of the most bullshit games that are on there. Alongside all of these genre clones and asset flips and item stealing and all of this stuff and just downright fakeries and phonies, you get games like this where you literally tap a button. Pay £1.70 to tap a button until the points get to a certain number. What I'm currently showing you is my platinum run of the Button B, where I tap a red button whenever a red disc appears to add points and sometimes see a dandelion seed. How many points do I need? Who knows? Why do I need the points? Who knows? Will anything else happen? Absolutely fucking not, because this is the entire game. I've just got the platinum. What the fuck? The Button B and other button presses, jumping toast or whatever it might be, they're not just faking and being a pretend version of something else. They're pretending to be games all round. Why? I don't understand why I did this to myself. I did it. I don't know why I did.
Has the planet gone mad?
So what are we left with? Some games that are carbon copies and clones of other successful titles that can hold their own in the market but really shouldn't be allowed to be quite so similar. And other things that are just, they're not even games, they're pretending to be games. When you're missing out key items like game structure, gameplay loops, just anything at all, any sense of direction, it's not a game anymore. It is nothing more than a jumped up tech demo. And during the recording of this video, more have come out. Liar's Pub now exists on the PlayStation Network. There's so many body cam shooter type games that are just egregious rip-offs. And while doing the audio, I found another one. This time it was via a tweet. Fly Night, great success on Steam. There's some kind of Fly Night Warrior that's come out. No one knows anything about it. Just a carbon copy. Shouldn't be allowed to happen.
Quick, better in here.
It's unbelievable. I think PlayStation and all the other storefront owners need to stand up at this point and go, right, we're actually going to pay some attention to what is being uploaded instead of just drilling thousands and thousands and thousands of games, shovelware, genre clones, asset flips, Steam clones, whatever you want to call them. There has to be something done to stop this mire of quality, because people are making games that are good and they're getting muddied with all of this absolute fucking hogwash. Yes, hogwash. Skullduggery, I tell you. Load of old bollocks. Digital storefront owners need to stop showing utter contempt for not only their consumers but also the people that upload games through them. Stop allowing these blatant rip-offs, absolute shite houses to turn up and actually have some respect for not only the business that you're in, but the people you're in the business with. Fucking hell. Stay vigilant, gamers. You never know when a bad game might crop up to ruin your gaming. Until next time, I've been Lee. This has kind of been What Is It? You've been awesome. Keep gaming. Game Gamers.